In this lab, we're going to produce this side cover using the Revolve Boss Base tool. This is a new tool that we're going to learn this week as opposed to the extruded boss base or the extruded cut that we've used the past 2 weeks. The Revolve base works perfectly for cylindrical features. So pretty much whenever you have a cylindrical feature, you should consider using a Revolve boss base. But anyways, let's get on with this lab and make this side cover. So I'm going to open up SolidWorks and I'm going to start a new part because we are still working only in parts right now. And the very first thing that I do is make sure my units are okay by going down to the bottom right, looking in the unit section, clicking on that, and not only clicking on the correct units here, but going to edit document units and setting the precisions that I need. For example, my length should be to a decimal precision of 3 because I believe my smallest increments are going to be 3. And the mass properties, that can be way out to 6 decimal places because that's for doing mass and things like that. And I'm going to have ANSI modified. So I'll press OK and then start sketching on the right plane. Because if we remember from our demonstration previously, how we work with Revolve boss bases is we start with the cross section and we're going to sketch out the top half of the cross section and then revolve it 360 degrees to get the cylindrical part, or at least the majority of the cylindrical part. So I'm going to go back to SolidWorks and sketch on the right plane. Click on the right plane, I get my quick access toolbar and I can hit sketch here. If SolidWorks didn't automatically make you right or make you normal to the right plane, you can go up to the view toolbar, click on the view cube, and then click on the face that is going to put you normal to the right plane. Now the first thing I'm going to do is create a center line, and instead of drawing it from the center point, I'm just going to draw it out here in space because something weird happens when we create an infinite center line. It gets rid of all relations. So I have my center line. I'm going to click on it to highlight it, go over to the property manager, and then click the box that says infinite length. And then what I'll do is I'll go up to the add relation button, which is in the command manager of the sketch tab. In the drop down where it says display delete relations, I'm going to go to add relation. My line 1, my center line, is already selected in the selected entities because when I had clicked on add relation, this center line was already selected. So now all I have to do is click on the origin point and then say to make them coincident to each other. Click the check mark, click somewhere out in space to see that my center line is now fully defined. Now I'm going to sketch the profile, and this is just going to be a rough profile. It doesn't have to be exact because remember, with SolidWorks in our sketches, what we do is we create a rough sketch and then add the dimensions, add the constraints later so that our sketch becomes fully defined. So I'll start out with creating a vertical line that's vertical with the origin, but remember, it's not on the origin, it's just above the origin because this part does have a hole in it, so we want to model that into our sketch. So I have a rough sketch of what the top portion of my cross section is going to look like. Now I can start adding smart dimensions with the smart dimension tool. The first dimension I'll add is this diameter. I know you all remember from AutoCAD that we would originally have to apply radius dimensions, doing the math from a drawing that listed all of this circular measurements as diameters. Well, not in SolidWorks. SolidWorks has this smart feature where if I bring my cursor below the center line, it will automatically assume that I'm going to be placing a diameter. This is because SolidWorks knows that it is capable of doing the Revolve Boss Base feature, and that when I do the Revolve Boss Base feature, I'm going to be sketching something that's going to end up being cylindrical, so I probably want to apply some diameter dimensions. So above the center line, I can apply a radius if I need be, but more commonly, more often so, I'm going to need to apply a diameter. So I just drag my cursor, just pull my cursor down below the center line to click to specify the diameter of 0.625. Then I'll do the same thing for the top line. And notice I clicked the top line and it automatically put me into a diameter dimension. Usually with Revolve boss space features, you not only have one diameter, but you have a bunch of diameters that you want to place on your sketch. So SOLIDWORKS is, in a very smart way, guessing that I want to place another diameter, allowing me to place a diameter without having to click on the center line nor go below the center line. So I will apply this dimension of 1. I'll apply the top dimension of 3.25. I'll zoom out a bit with my mouse wheel so that I can see a bit better. I require a 0.75 dimension for this bottom line, but see how it automatically placed me in a diameter dimension? To get out of the diameter dimension to apply a thickness, I press Escape on my keyboard. So now I can place this thickness dimension of 0.75. And same thing goes for this top thickness of 0.125. 0.125. And now my sketch is fully defined. If I wanted to, I can put my fillet in right here as well, but there's no harm done putting the fillet in as a filleted feature. I'm going to put the fillet in right now just to make less features for myself. So I'll go to Sketch Fillet, which is on the Sketch tab of the Command Manager. Click my point that I want to fillet, click my corner that I want to fillet, which is a point in this case. Set the radius to 0.125 because I believe that's what it is. Press the green check mark to confirm this size of the fillet, and then press the green check mark to confirm that there are no more fillets to be added. My sketch is fully defined. I'm ready to go. So I'll go up to the Features tab in the Command Manager. Now go to Revolve Boss Space. Automatically SOLIDWORKS knows that the only center line in my sketch is going to be the axis of revolution. You can look in the Property Manager for the Revolve feature that the axis of revolution, it's automatically selected as line 1. Now if I had more than one center line inside my sketch, SOLIDWORKS would ask me which center line do I want to be my axis of revolution. Note that you can also click solid lines to be your axis of revolution. I can also change the amount of angle that my sketch is going to be revolved. For this case we want 360, but imagine if I wanted 180. I could easily type that in. Or 120. I could easily type that in. Or 270. I could easily type that in to make some pretty complex shapes, to make some pretty complex geometry. SOLIDWORKS allows us to do these things very quickly and efficiently with the Revolve Boss Space feature. I'm going to put my value of 360 degrees back in because that's what I want. So I press the green check mark to confirm, and now all that's left is to do those holes.